Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante Live. After watching, Ron and I were probably, along with a handful of you, the only people watching that race to save the planet thing, it felt like.
We were the only people using the Twitter hashtag. We live tweeted it.
That was for certain.
I mean, it's frustrating, and I don't blame the people, nor do I blame the Weather Channel.
No,
at least they're trying. I blame the DNC for trying to outlaw even this from happening, and I blame the debates who haven't even brought up climate change yet. I mean that's where the frustration is.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, we talked about this. The last debate, the first 15 minutes were all hemming about impeachment. Right, mm-hmm. Which we talked about is a waste. You don't have this. You don't have the numbers in the Senate. You can't get it done. So it's a waste. And there was not one question about climate change.
Yeah,
not one.
Hey, let's talk about this political theater, because that's essentially what it all is. It's political theater,
right?
And instead of talking about the collapse of the planet,
and I will give Weather Channel credit. They basically gave the climate change denial no space. Like some people denied, nope. They just went no. Here's the real science.
Here's the science. We can't deny the science. We can have different opinions on how we do things, but here's the science. And they did have some people on the right there, like unabashedly on the right, Republicans, and even they were saying, hey, this is a big deal. And then they would bring up things like, oh, but our debt, am I right? Like Joe Walsh. But at least they're acknowledging it.
That's the thing. I will give those three Republicans that are running against Trump in the primary. I don't see them having any chance, but I give them credit for saying that one guy said, the Democrats are talking about it more than Republicans. Republicans got to stop pretending it's not happening. Mm-hmm. The one guy that was the former governor of Massachusetts saying, this is preposterous. 97% of all scientists say it's happening. And the one thing they didn't bring up in this, it's because, Weather Channel, I'm sure they get ad money from big oil. They have to. They don't bring up the fact that all of the climate denial is funded by the oil company.
Oh, yeah.
All of it.
Of course they didn't bring that up.
It's like I'm just looking at all the names here on the stream. So it's really, it was really like, I'm glad they did this and the severity of it. And even you and I were commenting on it. I mean, we made fun of some of the things some of the corporate Democrats said, but even some of them, Cory Booker.
Cory Booker had a good point.
Yeah.
That's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but he had a good point about environmental justice. Liz Warren had a good point about, getting lower emission vehicles and setting a timetable for it. That was one of the first times I ever heard her speak distinctly about any type of policy. And what's sad here, and even though I'm not a fan of either one of them, and I take everything they say with a big grain of salt, but what's sad is they'll never get an opportunity to make that point in an actual debate.
Well, this discussion wasn't even a town hall. They had one climate town hall, and then they killed it, or they had,
Yeah, this was a town hall in name only. I mean, it was a collection of interviews.
So it wasn't even the thing that was frustrating about this is we didn't even get a chance to hear anybody's, and this is what a debate or town hall should be, is they're all saying, and we got to hear a little bit of what their policy, what they would want, how they would want to do this. But I want to sit there and go, how are you going to do this?
Yeah.
What specifically there was like one or two questions in this that was like, are you going to spend money to save coastal communities? And Bernie goes, yeah, of course, but we got to do more than that. And a couple people even said, we got to do more than that. Even like, it might even been Cory Booker too. Are you going to do the Paris Accord? He goes, yeah, but like,
we got to go further.
Getting us back in the Paris Accord is such a Band-Aid. This is my fear of a corporate Democrat winning and getting in the White House. They'll go, we're back in the Paris Accord.
Go back to brunch.
Yeah, go back to brunch.
We fixed it.
We saved Roe v.
We're good.
We good. We've saved Roe v. Wade. We went back to the Paris Accord. Now go back to brunch while we let the corporations and the war machine keep going.
We'll tweet nicely for 4 years, and then we might lose, and so you'll have to get out of brunch again, and
yeah.
But.
And that's the thing, like this, I want to hear, and like Bernie was the only one who was like, yeah, my plan is $16 trillion, but you know what it'll cost without it? And thank God Weather Channel reiterated that fact.
And they let Bernie reiterate jobs.
Yes.
Because Bernie kept bringing up, he's like 20 million jobs.
20 million jobs, because when you talk to the Republican guys, I mean, they're not heroes because they're acknowledging climate change, because their plans are these Republican, like, where are all their jobs going to go? And it's like, we will have more jobs than we have today with people in green energy.
And they're sustainable jobs.
And they're sustainable
that are
jobs.
not dangerous for you.
No, there won't be cancer clusters by a wind farm. You know what I mean? I did a video that I suggest everybody watch. There's new research. They've figured out a way for algae to suck the CO2 out of the air and clean the air at a rate 400 times faster than trees. So one of the things that was brought up, if we put actual money behind that, billions of dollars it would take to produce that on a mass scale, we could even theoretically start reversing climate change, all the greenhouse gases. And I give the Weather Channel credit of doing real, easy to digest if you're not a scientist, facts and figures. You know what I mean? Like, here's what's happening. Here's how greenhouse gas works. Here's the environment. Here are the numbers since 1900. But even the 2100, that's too, we're talking about 2050, there might not be any more human race. So that's something I would, going back to the algae thing, that can suck CO2 out of the air, which is like, holy shit, just put money behind that and make that happen.
Right.
That means methane, which is 86 times more dangerous for the environment than CO2, which is also a thing they didn't bring up here. All the methane trapped in the polar ice caps, when it gets released all at once by the ice caps melting, we could face an extinction event. I'm going to go on an article from an Arctic scientist in a second that says that could be an extinction event, not a slow burn that we're flooding and there's wars and civil unrest. I mean, like, boom, there's no more breathable air. So if you can create algae or that sucks the CO2 out of the air, you could put money and research into something that could do this with methane.
Right.
There's people already doing geoengineering, that could literally change there's got to be a way.
And again, this all comes with jobs. And,
Right.
and this is like a side note on all this. Could you imagine our country with like an actual jobs guarantee, a real job, which we can have, it's attainable. Yep. We can have, but just think about it. Like, you and I are in show business. We know people who, and there are times in show business where you might not get what you want all the time. Well, you definitely don't get what you want all the time. I mean, we all know this. But just imagine that country, though, just right here in Los Angeles. You're talking to a friend of yours who's an actor or an actress, whatever. Hey, how are things going? You know what? Things were slow last month. It's a slow season, and I didn't have any auditions. So I built solar panels for a month. Yeah, I was building solar panels for a month, and then I got like a solid audition. I booked a job, so I stopped doing that. And you know what? I'm hoping to stay busy for a little while, but I dug the solar panel thing, and I'm happy to do that whenever things are slow. That's the world we would live in with a jobs guarantee, and we can have this. It's very attainable.
Well, there was many things I wish they would have said in this. They said good things, and I give them credit, and this is better than nothing, but we don't have time for better than nothing.
Right.
So I wish more people would make, under the Green New Deal, Jill Stein and the Green Party coined that term because it's like FDR's New Deal.
Right.
So FDR faced 30% unemployment when he came into office. We had the Dust Bowl. So we had like climate refugees as a result of the Dust Bowl. And we had mass poverty, which brought crime, which brought everything else. And then we had World War II. So we had to deal with the Depression and the threat of Nazis. And he did it. And that's how you need to sell this to the American people. And what and Bernie seems to be of all the Green New Deals that I've read, of all the candidates, he seems to have the only really comprehensive one. You need to say, look, the solution to all, because what the problem I'm having is they're campaigning like this is one issue.
Yeah.
Medicare for all is another issue. Domestic policy is another issue. No.
They're connected.
They're all connected. And the solutions are all connected.
The solutions are all connected. That's why it bothers me so much when people criticize the Green New Deal through that lens, where they're just like, well, why is this Green New Deal also talking about jobs and also talking about blah, blah. And I'm like, do you need someone to sit you down and explain to you what environmental racism is? Because it's very real, and here's how it works. You want people to explain to you how our infrastructure matters here, how like our solutions for transportation and our solutions to get off of fossil fuels bring about jobs and then, reinvest our economy in jobs. Like these are all connected. That's why it's called the Green New Deal, similar to the New Deal. Like this is a good thing. You should be celebrating this part.
Part of the New Deal, it put everyone to work. Everyone. So going back to your model of the Hollywood actor who's not working in show business right now that goes to work building solar panels. I would even say this, hey, how's things going? Well, I hadn't had a commercial, my commercial stopped airing, but now I'm making PSAs for the solar movement.
Oh, totally.
That the government funds. You know what I mean? We're going around helping design theaters, like the WPA theaters. That FNX show I directed was a works project theater that FDR and the artists make. It could be everything.
Totally.
Everything.
Oh, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm mostly an actor, but I'm out of work, so I'm going to be doing this. Oh, man, whenever you need another gig, because we have a jobs guarantee, by the way, whenever you need another gig, we're building an environmentally sustainable theater in your neighborhood. You could help with that. I mean, it'd be...
You want to do shows for the solar panel workers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what you've done. I've done shows for the military in Iraq and Afghanistan and Kuwait. We could be doing this. And then... so everybody gets a job. Everybody's working to fix this. It would fix, and you're getting Medicare for all in this program. You're creating American jobs. So what if we said we need a completely electric vehicle infrastructure that all has to be built here? And the thing, and many criticisms of Liz Warren. One of the things she said was that I did agree with was we'll give you the proprietary. The IP for this technology that the federal government will give it to the private sector, but you have to make it here with Americans and put that. And then we go around and we go to China and Russia and India, like Bernie mentioned, the three biggest markets other than ours that have populations other than, India has 1 billion some people. China has 1.5 billion. We're only 300 million people. So you go to those countries and you say, look, we're done with the war and all the other fighting. We're going to get together on this. Here's the tech. You implement this for your citizenry and all that other stuff. I'll say this as a side note. The only two I've never been on, there's no high-speed rail in the United States. I've been on high-speed rail between Moscow and St. Petersburg and between Beijing and Shanghai. So you part of the Green New Deal is we're not spending all this money on military. Right? We would keep the military in there a little bit to help with security because there is going to be all these refugees and all this stuff like this. But you fix every problem. Education. We're spending money on education. You get free college. What are you studying in college? Oh, I'm studying this piece to help with green technology. This sustainability.
Farming. There's so many things.
And bringing in, I'm glad they showed how... Because I did a video on this in the late spring of how we're only going to have 58% crop yield. We're in harvest right now.
Yeah, they finally brought that up. That was one of the first things I tweeted. I was like, I think this is the first time ever on anything connected to the corporate media I heard them bring up farming and climate change.
Yes.
They never bring it up.
Because of the floods from this spring. And they showed it. I'm glad they showed it. And they're like talking to, like, farms are flooded, so there's no crops. What's that going to do for the food supply? In the short run, guess what? Prices are going to start to go up. 6 months to a year from now, food prices are going to go up. And you're going to go, why? And you're like, because of those floods in the spring of 2019. That's why, right? So one of the things, and incorporating the farming community, because there's plastics made from corn. There's plastics now made from cactus. They're compostable, that are not petroleum-based. We got to be done with petroleum-based plastics. We can put everyone to work for finding the solutions.
Right. Oh, absolutely. There's even things they're experimenting with now And if it's petroleum-based plastic, this has some concerns. Like they're still kind of working out the kinks. But there's a way they've been using plastic into asphalt production.
Right.
Now, again, you have those concerns where, like, well, what if microplastics get into our water supply or something like that? So there's still homework that needs to be done here. But if they could do it from a more sustainable, like a plastic from corn or something like that, this could also be a viable thing that, again, doesn't resort to tar, doesn't resort to petroleum-based plastic, and could be a sustainable way to do our infrastructure.
And American farmers are working.
We just named like 20 things, and neither one of us are scientists.
Right.
Neither one of us.
And that if we were to sit and break these how many jobs would each one of these things create if we did it?
Yeah.
So they're talking about there's large areas of drought, and those people are going to have to move. Now, this is a great example. First of all, 117 people watching. Please hit the like button. And do the super chat. I'll answer your questions. It's a great way to support the show, and share this stream out there. I know we've talked about this before. One of the things that exacerbated the Syrian civil war crisis was climate change. It didn't create it, but there was 5 years of drought throughout Syria. So farmers in the rural areas of Syria couldn't work. So they moved into the big cities like Aleppo. So there was too many people and not enough jobs. So that when this civil war popped off, climate refugees by climate change made it worse. So that's another thing why, for the safety and security, from just a security standpoint, we would want to implement these things like permaculture. You can do permaculture. I've interviewed permaculture people on this show. You could take a warehouse in the middle of a massive city and grow all of these organic fruits and vegetables right there, which means we could go implement that and you control the environment. So let's say the environment's all chaotic outside, and while we're spending all this money to try to get climate change back in place, we can actually still have a food source.
Right.
We could implement this technology around the world.
Well, and keep in mind, I mean, another thing, because this gets into urban farming and stuff like that, we really need these solutions because factory farming is such a big problem that we need to get away from. We need to really reinvest the way we consider our food culture. I mean, more people need to get involved with crop shares. More people need to support their local farms. I mean, that is so infinitely important. And it's also healthier and better. On every level.
On every level. I mean, we got to get rid of Monsanto and those folks.
Yes. Goodbye.
You're done.
Goodbye. You're done.
You're part of the problem. And this is the thing.
That's why when they say incentivize corporations, I'm like, no, fuck that. Fuck that.
Like when the Republicans are like, we need to incentivize the corporations, what some of the corporate Democrats say. And they're like, let the free market decide. The free market? The thing that created climate change. This greedy, late-stage toxic capitalism that has gutted our resources. Let them fix it?
Yeah, let them fix it.
Oh, you know what? Let's let the drug cartels fix the addiction.
The invisible hand will just jerk off Mother Nature. We'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
No, Purdue Pharmaceutical, they're going to take care of the opioid epidemic.
They have a moral conscience.
The oil industry is going to really get a handle on climate change.
The oil industry that ruined your neighborhood and said, "Do you want to sell your land?" No. Well, we're screwing you anyway. Yeah, they'll do the right thing.
The oil industry that only puts refineries in poor neighborhoods. You ever seen an oil refinery in Brentwood?
Not yet.
No, not yet. We haven't seen one yet. I haven't seen one yet. Haven't seen one in Malibu. Haven't seen
Beverly Hills.
No,
No,
never seen one there. It's weird. Never seen an oil refinery there. I see them in frontline communities, in poor communities. Many of those communities are of color, but even in poor white communities, they stick it to them. So like this when I hear like we need to be carbon neutral, that sounds like that's like the plug-in hybrid. Great idea 30 years ago. We're done. We're past it. We need to be done. Like, that's why I like Bernie. He's like off oil by 2030. Tulsi Gabbard wrote the Off Oil Act. She wrote that in Congress. Like, that's what we need. We don't have time for this like incremental. Well, we need to raise gas mileage standards to 50.
The oil companies need to pay more taxes, but which they do. But that's not a solution.
We need to shut them down. And this is the other thing. They made it seem so crazy. We're going to lose all these oil and coal jobs. And that was the one thing Cory Booker said. These patriots that work in the coal lobby, the coal companies, dude. shut the pandering down. Just
Yeah.
take it down a couple of notches. Here's what you say. You take this campaign to Texas, where they showed the Texas coast flooding and people saying, I'm moving. The hurricanes keep getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how like a Bernie Tulsi ticket could flip Texas. You go right to Texas. You go right to oil country and you say, hey, oil workers, everybody working in the oil industry, part of our Green New Deal, we will transition you at the current salary that you're at to a green job.
Exactly.
Don't need tax breaks and all. They make it so much more goddamn
Oh,
complicated.
if Hillary
than it is.
would have said that, she'd be president right now.
She would be president.
If Hillary would have said that in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, if she would have said, hey, you know what? All these temporary oil jobs that are in the long run bad for your community and aren't sustainable, we're getting rid of all that. We're ending fracking. We're going to do a Green New Deal. You're going to have a solid green job, and I'm going to work with the right people to get it done. She'd be president right now.
President. You will be president. If you're a real progressive and if Bernie were to say that and go to Texas, go to Oklahoma, that has like 1,000 more earthquakes every year than they used to since they started fracking.
Mm-hmm.
Go right to where the Keystone Pipeline just spilled 380,000 gallons.
Yeah, MSNBC was all over it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they were all over it.
No.
CNN was all over that. Fox, they
Oh,
were all
no.
over it.
Were they? Or were they all bitching about Russia and smearing Bernie?
I'm going to go with B.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They never covered the
it.
Keystone Pipeline that Obama approved that spilled 380,000 gallons of oil. Go there, set up your campaign right where the spill is and says, I will make a Green New Deal this won't ever happen again.
Which state has the most new DSA chapters opening?
Texas.
Ah, that's right. Weird how that works.
Texas with 38 electoral votes. If a Democrat could win Texas, it's over. Trump cannot win because a Democrat, whoever it is, will get all the blue states. I'm assuming if it's Bernie, I'm assuming Bernie will actually campaign in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, unlike Hillary.
Yeah, they
did.
already like him there.
Yeah, they already like him.
They already like him there. Even New York Times had a poll come out. Bernie, in all those key running states, he beats Trump by a lot.
Head to head.
Biden's barely beating Trump. Warren's losing to Trump in some of them. Oh, and guess what the headline was from New York Times? Biden and Warren are kind of neck and neck with Trump. They didn't even mention Bernie.
He's
in the data.
Yes.
He's beating him in all those battleground states. Bernie beats Trump.
Dude, like one of them was, Buttigieg is in a strong fourth place.
Yeah.
Bernie's in first, but
Yeah.
Buttigieg, they're only talking about fourth
That
place.
was the CNN. Every single headline where Bernie was winning all the polls, none of the headlines mentioned that. They didn't even mention his name.
Yeah, it's.
And, one criticism I'll also lob against what we just watched, the words Green New Deal were not uttered at any point. And I guarantee you, Bernie said it at one point.
Of course he did.
I promise he did. They just didn't. They were snipping those interviews.
This is
So
the
for whatever
problem
reason-
with this format.
Yeah.
Is they cut up the interviews.
They cut up the interviews.
So who knows who said what their policy. This is why we need a fucking climate change debate.
Yeah.
Stand up there and tell me why your solution for climate change is better. Pitch it to me, man.
Yeah. And then we're going to find out one person has a plan.
Yes.
No one else does.
Right.
And you know what? That's what the public needs to know.
Yes. And I want to hear point blank questions, but the corporate media can't do that because Exxon and them buy goddamn ad time. Mm-hmm. I'll read a couple super chats here. Sky's not the limit. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, I was wondering what you thought of the UFO phenomenon being taken more seriously recently. There were articles on Fox and Drive about them. We're talking about this climate debate, so I don't know. UFOs. Is there intelligent life out there? Yeah, I believe that there is.
Oh, there's got to be.
There has to be.
Yeah.
There's no way. We're the trailer park for the universe.
Yeah.
We're the dumbest race of species that can think.
Well, you know what I want to believe, and this is just like a personal belief. I don't have any evidence for this. What I really want to believe is that there is intelligent life out there, and they wait to contact you until like once you exterminate war, that's when they reach out to you.
Right.
Like once your civilization is like, oh, we're not doing this anymore. No more war,
Right.
and we're for real. We're abolishing all the weapons. Then all of a sudden, this more intelligent life comes down, and they're like, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
We can do so much cool shit. We've been wanting to tell you. Earth. We were like, when is Earth finally going to get on board? We've been waiting.
Right.
That's what I want to believe. Again, just a personal, I want to believe this is true. No evidence on that.
I think
but
there's probably some truth to that, because if they're a highly intelligent life form, they could come through here and be undetected.
of course.
But they're looking at us going, God, the fact that they even have to have this climate change, they've been actively fucking up the very environment. So this is a species that knows it needs drinkable water and breathable air.
No, drinkable air would be pretty badass, though.
That's what's going to happen when the methane bomb explodes. But this is a species that knows what it needs to survive and yet is ruining the very environment it needs to survive in. Maybe we should just go to another planet because these people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably watching us and they're like, should we just tell them? You can't. They have to figure this out on their own. Like there's like some younger, like naive creature who's like maybe like their equivalent of like high school, and they're like, well, can't we just tell them? And it's like, you can't just tell them. You can't do that. They have to figure this out on their own, or they don't get to join the Federation.
Yeah.
It's like, but they seem nice, the Earthlings. They have some interesting porn. Can't we? Like, no, they have to figure it out on their own.
But shouldn't we give them some technology? We have, and look what they've done. They've created war with it and Snapchat. So, like, they're not that great. They're not that great of a species. So yeah, I haven't watched much of the UFO
They
thing.
didn't figure out a way to get a car that doesn't drive on gasoline, but they did figure out a way to get better video technology than they had in the 40s in your pocket. They're doing it better. Remember how we did it? It was the other way. We had self-driving vehicles that ran on air before we had iPhones. What are the Earthlings doing?
Remember how our species went, how can we save the environment so that we can live in it? And that's what our species done, and yet this species of humans is murdering the planet that they need to survive.
Only the younger ones are saying it. Only everyone else is like, I don't know. We spent a lot of time on that UFO question.
It was that we didn't want to answer. Thank you for supporting the show. Andrew Dwyer, touchy subject, but do you think progressives should be a little more critical of Antifa? Chris Hedges, I think, had the perfect take on them in the book. Yeah, I think we should be a little more critical of Antifa. The thing that's pretty clear to me, Susie Dawson pointed this out about Antifa and the Proud Boys. She's like, Graham, I have no doubt that the intelligence community has planted people in each one of those organizations to disrupt, to make them fight, because keeping us divided, distracted, and afraid is a part of this. Antifa, if they really want, like, Antifa should be just going after the billionaire ruling class. Antifa should be tracking down Ghislaine Maxwell. Antifa should be going to the Federal Reserve and the central banks and saying, not mad that some right-wing YouTuber is speaking somewhere. That is dumb. Like,
yeah, well, it's one of those things. It's such a loose collective
Right.
that it's like, you're going to have some people that do, some not so great things. And it's like, well, all right, that wasn't cool. I certainly don't endorse that.
Right. And are they doing not so cool things because they're misguided, or are they intelligence people trying to stir it up? Because that's what they've always done.
Well, I bet it's a little bit of both.
Probably a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both, I'd say.
That's my thing. What I would say with Antifa: first of all, find out who in the CIA is in your group, and get them out of there, and then actually go after the billionaire ruling class. Go after these fucking pedophile sex traffickers. Go after them. That's what you should be protesting. Some guy that was at Breitbart. You know how you deal with right wingers and fascists and white nationalists?
Making better speech.
Making better speech.
That's what you do. You make better speech.
You show how wrong they are. You show how a populist, progressive, anti-war message is the best message that the majority of human beings want. Because war goes against human nature. As Julian Assange says, you have to lie people into war, which means you can truth them into peace. That's how you do it. All right. DF. What's up, DF? Shave your knuckles for justice. It looks like y'all are trying to figure out who is at the tip of the corruption iceberg. Thoughts on the 100 CEOs responsible for 71% of the emissions? Yeah. Go after them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so done with the ruling class. I'm so done with it. And
well, that's the thing. Like, relating that question to what we just watched, I really like how they, during every commercial break, for anyone that didn't watch it, they gave a thing of like what you can do. Which was great, like trying to take a shorter shower, recycling. They brought up, trying to limit your plastic use. And all those things are awesome. Like, all those things are great. And as individuals, we should do the best we can. But what I also wish they would have put is a list of all the most polluting companies, because those companies are responsible for most of this stuff. And if they don't change, what we do as individuals won't make a difference in the long run, unfortunately.
Yeah, we have to.
We need to stop them.
We need to stop them. We need to know who they are. And part of it is like vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
I mean.
And we know who a lot of them are. Amazon,
Walmart.
We know. I mean, you can see the ratings. Amazon, F rating with the environment. Walmart, they completely destroy a community when they go into it. I mean, it's...
Think of if Amazon just went, if Jeff Bezos went, okay, green across the board. All my packaging's green. All my warehouses are green. My employees get real wages. He could do that. He could give up, half of his $150 billion or whatever he's worth. And overnight, green trucks. He could do that. He could do this overnight. Yeah. Solar panels on everything. He could do that overnight, man.
And he'd still be so rich.
He'd still be crazy rich.
I mean, that's what Bernie tweeted it. So Bill Gates was doing that thing like, well, if you're asking me to pay $100 billion, which, by the way, no one was asking him to pay $100 billion. That was just BS. But then Bernie tweeted out, he's like, even if we were asking you to pay $100 billion in taxes, we could end homelessness, fix our environment, do all these things. And then you would still be a multi-billionaire.
Yes.
If you gave us $100 billion, which, by the way, that's not what the wealth test does. But even if you did, you'd still have a couple $1 billion, and we could fix all this stuff.
If we took $100 billion from Bezos, he'd have what, 30, 40 billion left, or 50 billion, whatever it would be.
Okay.
So a little walking around money, 30 billion worth of pocket change just to kind of get by.
He's not going to need an extra gig anytime soon.
No, I mean, he'll be able to buy a tank of gas and get himself a sandwich on $30 billion.
Go to a movie once a month.
Take his lady out for a movie once a month. Yeah, once a month, not twice a month for $30 billion.
Come on. I mean, what do you need? Instead of a society where we're concerned about how much the billionaires are paying in taxes, what if we lived in a society where more people were concerned, how did we allow billionaires to happen?
Yeah.
Because in a world where there were actual protections for workers, in a world where there was actual, equality and some amount of redistribution,
you couldn't be a billionaire.
There wouldn't be billionaires. It wouldn't happen.
You couldn't do it.
It wouldn't happen, nor should it. It's completely unnecessary, and nobody becomes a billionaire ethically. It doesn't happen.
No, there's no such thing.
No.
And when billionaires say, "Oh, I'm a progressive billionaire," really?
No, you're not.
No, you're not. It's impossible.
You wouldn't have $1 billion. You would even if somehow you amassed it. Which, by the way, the only way you could possibly have $1 billion ethically is if you were just born with it. Like,
Right.
I mean, if you were born into it, and then it's just, because you can't control what your parents did.
Right.
Your parents probably did something horrible to get it.
Something.
But, you can't control. So if you were born into it, you would have given most of it away.
Yeah, there's somebody got exploited for you to get that $1 billion.
Yeah, big time.
And
because if you didn't exploit people along the way, you wouldn't be a billionaire.
Yeah.
You might still be rich, which is fine. Like, that's fine. You had a great idea. You did good.
Great.
That's great.
You made $10 million off a great idea. That's fantastic.
Yeah, good for you.
You're gonna have a fantastic life.
Yeah.
Your kid's life is gonna be amazing. Do you really? Why do you need more than that?
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, if there's any billionaires out there, just write me a check for $1 million and I'll grow this channel and get the message out. That if you're truly a progressive billionaire,
yeah,
give Ron $1 million and me $1 million. I'll grow this channel.
And then we'll never make fun of you again.
Yeah, we'll stop making fun of you.
Give us each $1 million. We'll stop making fun of you.
Yes, you specifically. Billionaires, no.
Yeah. Not all billionaires, just you. And we'll single you out. Be like, hey, there is one progressive billionaire, this person who gave each of us $1 million. I mean, we'll be transparent about it. Offers on the table.
Offers on the table. Marginal tax rate solves billionaires. That's correct. Anyway, it's. Don't forget to hit the like button. 214 people watching. Hit the like button and go to the super chat to support the show. And also, Ron, next week we're going to Australia.
Yes, we are.
Where are we going?
So excited. So November 14th we're going to be in Melbourne. Which, by the way, we're almost out of tickets.
Ooh.
Get your tickets. Melbourne, do not wait. Get your tickets now. November 15th, Adelaide. November 17th, Sydney. November 22nd, Perth. I'm so excited.
So if Melbourne's sold out, then go to either to Adelaide or Sydney.
That's right.
It's a quick little plane ride away or wherever you live.
Yep.
And then December 13th, we are doing the Progressive Comedy Tour at the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. December 14th, we are at the Sycamore, the Dojo of Comedy in Hollywood.
Yeah, we're getting ready for 2020. We got to do some shows on our home turf to get ready because we're going to be experimenting with some political vigilante game show stuff.
Yes.
We're going to be doing some longer sets. We're going to be doing some new stuff. We got a lot to talk about in 2020. So we're going to be premiering those shows right in our own home turf in Ventura, California and Hollywood, California. So please come on out, ronplacone.com and grahamelwood.com for tickets.
And then starting in 2020, we go to Tucson, we go to San Francisco, we go to Orlando, we go to Miami, we go to Seattle, we go to Portland. All those cities.
That's what's confirmed right now. And we got more coming out.
Be adding more cities.
We're going to be adding more, so hold tight. And if you want to see us somewhere, let us know. Email us. We're booking 2020 now. We're trying to get out as much as we can. And Midwest, hold tight. Cincinnati, we should have some news for you soon. Cleveland, Detroit, we should have some news for you soon. Colorado, we're coming. And East Coast, don't worry, we're coming back. East Coast. We are coming back. Boston, New York, we'll be seeing you before the election. That's a promise.
Philly.
DC, Philly.
We're going to be in Milwaukee and Chicago right before the Democratic Convention. Kate Golden said, I got no notification of this live. So, folks, hit the bell notification button. First of all, make sure you're subscribed. YouTube has been unsubscribing people. We're almost at 56,000 subscribers, so hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell notification because they don't notify everybody. And a backup for that is follow me on Twitter at Graham Elwood. I'll put it right here so you know it's just at my name at Graham Elwood.
Yeah, follow me too at Ron Placone.
At Ron Placone.
Because whenever we do streams, whenever we're collaborating, whenever we're doing anything, we always tweet it out. Whenever there's updates, we always tweet it out. And then we both also try to make use of our YouTube community tab. So make sure you're subscribed. And always keep a lookout there.
Yeah, so like somebody said I subscribe, but still no notification. Yeah, I wish I have no control over that. That's why I would say follow us on Twitter because I always post on Twitter when I'm going live. Like today I said I was going to go live. We were live Tuesday and we said we were going to be live for this. And I go live every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And we will be doing these live chats while we're in Australia, these super chats. So that's the best way. That's the best way to check that out. Somebody says we're buffering. No buffering on my end. My stream signal looks good. Glenn Greenwald was assaulted. What?
I saw that.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know all the details. I just saw like the video, like scrolling through Twitter. But yeah, he was having a debate. I think it was in Brazil, and the guy took a swing at him. And he stopped the guy and then he stood up right away. And yeah, I don't know the details though. Like I don't know what specifically it was about, but yeah, I did see that.
Was he debating one of those like Bolisario fascist?
I think so.
Dicks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But as far as like the details, like I don't know.
So that's a great point. Then that illustrates what is happening, why there's all this like nationalism around the world. Is because neoliberal globalization has caused this huge inequities all over the world, right? So people, and look, because you're seeing the protests, Lebanon, Ecuador, Chile, France, where people are protesting basically the same things. We don't have social services. We don't have the wealthy in power are screwing us over. Like they're all protesting very similar aspects. So what happens is, and Chris Hedges talks about this in Death of the Liberal Class. When you let the ruling class and the corporations in this case screw over workers and eviscerate unions and take away things like healthcare and social services, people start to rise up. What also happens, unfortunately, is then it's easier for demagogues to get into power.
Right. The rise of the extremists.
The rise of the extremists. That's what happened after the last Great Depression in the 30s. Mussolini, Hitler, Hirohito, they all rose up.
A great book on all that is a book called Anatomy of a Revolution by Crane Britton. It tells you basically what needs to be in place for a revolution to happen, but then it also tells you the other sides of it because what all this is a need for a revolution, a need to divert from the status quo. But, when you don't have that need fulfilled in a constructive way, people will turn to a demagogue.
Right.
Like in 2016, when we had the need for a revolution and the Democrats threw the most corporate candidate maybe in the history of the party at us, and the Republicans had a right-wing demagogue who billed himself an outsider. Well, the outsider got in.
The outsider got
quote,
in.
Outsider.
Right.
I mean, quote, because he's not an
He's not.
outsider.
He's a billionaire.
It's
and
fake. But,
it's a fake. You're right. He's a fake outsider, but he's a good.
but he's a demagogue.
He's a demagogue, and he's good. He's good. He told people, "I'm going to fight for you," and no one was saying that. No one else was saying that. And because he was an outsider and a TV show host, that appealed to some people. You know, some people who had never voted before and felt abandoned by the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. There was all those districts that voted for Obama twice that went for Trump. So the left always just says Trump's a racist and a sexist, which he is.
He totally
is. He ran a xenophobic campaign, but they always neglect to see the message that how he resonated with those. He ran on a populist message.
And all those promises he was making very desperate people.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of us saw this coming, and we were told how crazy we were when we said Trump was going to win. I mean, and since then, I mean, dude, I've had family members apologize to me where they're just like, yeah, we made fun of you when you said Trump was going to win, and you were so like, you were just like, Trump's going to be president. This is insane.
Oh, we were the crazy Burn Bros. We were the crazy socialists.
Oh, yeah. I was the guy who couldn't get over it that they screwed over Bernie. I should just get over it. And since they were just like, yeah, you were right. What needs to happen in 2020 now? And I'm like, well,
shut up and fall in line with the pro Wall Street warmonger Clinton. Who did she pick Bernie as her running mate, which would have gotten all of us to vote for her?
Yeah, she'd be.
Nope. She went Tim Kaine, who's just another pro-choice Republican. And then we were all told
he's not pro-choice.
Yeah. Oh God, that's right. He's pro-life.
Tim Kaine's not even pro-choice.
Tim Kaine is.
You gave him too much.
I gave him too much credit. He's a Republican.
Tim Kaine is a Republican. He's a Republican who couldn't beat Mike Pence in a debate. You could, the guy who thinks in the year of our Lord 2019, Mike Pence thinks that being gay is a disease that can be cured by electrocution. You couldn't beat that guy in a debate.
You couldn't beat the guy that can't have lunch with women. Because their boobs are going to trick him.
All you had to do was get a girl to stand next to him. You could have won that thing. And you couldn't pull it off.
Like basically
and the
just started
only
whacking
reason,
off.
I think the reason she picked Tim Kaine, was because of her own hubris, because she wanted to just say fuck you to all the progressives, which she did very successfully.
Quite well.
And also because they thought he would get her Virginia, and they thought Virginia was like one of the key states they would need to win. He did manage to get her Virginia, but the only reason they got Virginia was because of Gary Johnson taking votes away from Trump.
Yes.
Because Gary Johnson did pretty good in Virginia. So he had one job, and he barely did it.
Barely did it.
He was the most useless VP pick. I think it's got to be in the history of this country. I mean, Tim
I've
Kaine,
ever seen.
The fact that Tim Kaine should have just resigned in shame on like the day after the election.
But hey, him and Liz
But
Warren.
he can speak Spanish.
Oh, great. Donde está la biblioteca, Tim? But
Como se dice useless.
But he was one of the people that stood up along with Liz Warren at Trump's State of the Union speech in February when Trump said this will never be a socialist country. It will always be capitalist. Liz Warren, Tim Kaine, and a bunch of other Democrats and mostly Republicans stood and applauded, and Bernie Sanders sat.
That's right. AOC also sat.
AOC also sat. And guess what? This is the same Liz Warren that gave $80 billion to Trump's war budget in October of 2017, as did Cory Booker and our buddy Tim Kaine. Those are the corporate Democrats. So that's why I want a more substantive climate debate, because when Liz Warren says we're going to green up the military, that worries me, because that tells me she's going to keep these bullshit wars going. These regime change, imperialist wars going, and she's just going to put solar panels on Bradley assault vehicles and say, yay, we did it. You know, like, what is she going to have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if green up the military, you mean we're going to have all the military doing green jobs. That's a greening up. That's a greening up of the military I can get behind, but we all know that's not what Liz Warren means.
Right. We know that's what you say, and but I would love to see a candidate actually do that, saying, and go to the military. If the military is like, you know, if you try to cut our budget, we're going to kill you. So I'm going to cut your budget a little bit, but I'm going to keep the military in place to do green jobs. You're going to run security to make sure this water pipeline that goes through all of America and Africa and all these nations that need water, instead of all these goddamn oil pipelines, imagine if America had water pipelines. So all that flooding that happened in the Midwest, what if we sent it, we drained it out? I know we have engineers that can do this. This isn't a crazy idea. Drain the water and send it to places that need it, where there's drought. Every year we go through this, we could have a pipeline of water around this country, and we could implement that technology all over the world.
What if we said, like, what if a candidate got up there and they said, you know what? I'm not cutting the military budget at all. I'm just reasserting it into a federal jobs program.
Yeah.
What if they completely renamed it and they're like, and you can still call it call it whatever you want. Call it the military budget if that makes you feel better. Go ahead, call it that. But we're going to end these wars, and instead, all this money we're spending on the military, that's what we're spending on a jobs program where a lot of people who are already in the military, they're going to be working on infrastructure. They're going to be building solar panels. They're going to be getting green jobs. And we're going to use this as a federal, because in some ways, the military is already a quote-unquote jobs guarantee, because they crush people economically, and you pretty much have no choice. That's your only option. But what if it was actually a real jobs program, which it could be? The money's already there.
And it was going around because we have the equipment and the infrastructure in place. Like every time there's a mass flood, like the hurricanes that happen here, it's the National Guard, because the National Guard has the helicopters and the gear to just go there and get people out. So what if we said, we know all this climate refugee, this is going to happen. And so like you say, the military, instead of building all these bombs and rockets, we're building green technology and technology that will actually help people, because we know there's going to be all this displacement. Even if we help stop climate change, we start reversing it, there's still some stuff that's going to happen.
Oh, of course.
Like we're going to lose Florida and coastlines, and that means any part of the world that's that low lying at sea level, we're going to have to evacuate those people. We're going to have to, and in coastal areas where they're going to build stuff to preserve it, there's going to be security issues. The the Army Corps of Engineers, let's put them to use actually doing reasonable things rather than blowing the fucking world up.
Let's just call it the war on climate change. Let's just call it the war on climate change.
There
And
you go.
there's going to be commercials in the NFL about it. They're just going to be like, hey, this is be all that you can be in, keeping us on this planet.
Mm-hmm. George Allen, shave your knuckles for justice, George. They became billionaires on the backs of us, the poor people, the working class. Absolutely. Yep. Finding Neo, shave your knuckles for justice. Come back to Vegas soon. Oh, man, we had so much fun in Vegas.
That was a fun weekend.
We've done it twice now, and great turnouts both times.
Yeah. Vegas is a lot of fun. Got to see a WNBA game.
Went to the WNBA
like
All-Star
you do
game.
in Vegas.
Like you do, baby.
Went in Vegas.
Go see women's basketball. I re-upped my season tickets for the Sparks. This is going to be our year, 2020.
Who's the jersey that you wear?
Nneka Ogwumike.
That's right.
Yeah, I got her jersey
and she signed it for you.
Silent auction. Yeah.
And then you didn't meet her
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you got to. All right.
No, I have not met her.
Well, you will.
I will.
Well, I mean, you met the announcer dude. Like, you ran into him. I remember that.
Hootie Who, yeah.
Yeah, you ran into Hootie.
Yeah, that's right. And he started following me on Instagram.
There you go.
Thank
it's
you.
only a matter of time.
It is a matter of time before Nneka Ogwumike follows me on Instagram. Tell Nneka Ogwumike she should follow me. George Allen, boom. Sorry I couldn't do Patreon this month. Supplies for the blackout cost us. I will support you this way if I can get back to it. Oh, George, thank you so much. And don't worry about it, dude. Like, it sounds like you live in Northern California, and that just sucks that you've had to go through that. And PG&E is a criminal organization. And Greg Palast put an article in Truth Dig on how to take over PG&E and turn it into a public utility company.
Which is what needs to happen. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of powers that be that want to privatize everything and make it even worse. But yeah, they are negligent beyond comprehension what they did. And it was corruption. It was criminal. Yeah, it was criminal.
They should be held responsible for any lives that were lost, any damage. They should be held responsible and go to jail.
And they don't get to hide behind bankruptcy.
No, fuck
Screw
that.
Throw them in jail then.
Jail.
Throw them
Orange
in jail.
jumpsuit, fucking perp walk them. I'm done with these assholes.
You can throw the bankers in jail. You
Yes.
can do it. Iceland did it.
Iceland did it. Iceland threw their bankers in jail.
So we can throw these people in jail.
Why didn't we do that?
Well,
Yeah.
we know why.
Wharp, wharp. Well, George, don't worry. Thank you for supporting the show. And this is to anybody out there. Look, if you're in a financial position to support the show, absolutely, I appreciate it. Patreon.com/Graham Elwood, Rockfin, these super chats. But if money's tight and you're going through something, man, do not worry about it. You don't have to apologize for anything. And for those of you who money is tight, here's some great free ways to support the show. First of all, make sure you're subscribed, even if you've done it before. Like all the videos. Put comments in the comment section. That helps all of the algorithms. Share them on your social media. You might be like, oh, I only have 200 followers. It doesn't matter. All that stuff helps. Watch the ads on YouTube all the way through. When you click skip ad, I don't get paid. So watch the ads all the way through. Even if it means open up a separate browser window, right? Those are all great free ways to support the show. And you can even look, both my comedy albums, I have a Pandora channel. So if you listen to my comedy albums on Pandora, that's free. Like all my tracks, I get residual income for that. So those are great free ways to support the show. And thank you for supporting however you can. Don't ever apologize if your money's tight. I totally get it. I've been through bankruptcy and foreclosure. It's all good, man. Thank you. David Bauer, give New Haven, Hartford, Springfield another try.
We were just there.
We were just there.
And I mean, New York City is like an hour away.
Yeah.
We got to spread out the region a little more. Hartford's like an hour away from New York City. So that's kind of hard for us because we want to get up to Maine and we want to get up to Vermont.
It's one of the things we've figured it. We kind of learned it. You know, there's been a lot of trial and error with the Progressive Comedy Tour, and the East Coast. You know, we had really good turnout in D.C., Philly, New York, and Boston. Baltimore and New Haven were just lighter because they're too close. Ron and I don't have the followings yet, the big enough followings to just sell 150, 200 tickets in every market. We're just not there yet. So we can't, and we learned it on this last going to Madison and Minneapolis. We did well. Iowa City did well. Omaha did okay. And Sioux Falls didn't do well at all. So we've realized that we have to, like Ron said, we have to spread out the markets and we got to go to just bigger markets.
And we're trying to do weekends.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can try to, you know, if you live near somewhere, hopefully we'll be getting there on a Saturday night for you.
Yeah,
as much as we can.
Because we realize the off nights just don't do as well. And so we're just going to try to do Friday and Saturday in big markets. Maybe we'll add a Thursday if it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But Friday, Saturday in massive markets. Like we're doing Sacramento on a Friday. We haven't got that date.
We're working on that.
We're working on that venue.
We're trying to figure that one out.
But we'll do Sacramento on a Friday and San Francisco on a Sunday. We're doing
Saturday.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. Friday and Saturday. Yeah. Seattle we're doing on a Friday. Portland on a Saturday.
Doing on a Saturday.
And like if Portland sells out,
we'll be there on Sunday too.
We'll add a Sunday. But like we just can't go to the smaller markets because it just doesn't make sense. And if you're like, because it's a lot of financial stuff. It's so, sorry.
Routing.
And logistics. And the more days we're out on the road.
Take a train to New York City, bro.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Take a train to New York City.
Take a magic bus.
Or go on to Boston.
And because that's the thing, the more days we're out on the road, the more expensive it gets.
Mm-hmm.
So a plane ticket is a plane ticket. And if we can sell just as many tickets in 2 shows in 2 big markets worth as 4 shows in small, then that's
we like taking trains when we can.
Yes.
You know?
Maybe we should take one up to Seattle and Portland.
How long is that?
It's like a 12-hour, 14-hour train ride.
Ooh.
We get sleeper cars. We wear
Sleeper
pajamas.
cars.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just get one hammock like Gilligan's Island.
Can we Netflix? How's the Wi-Fi? Actually, the Wi-Fi was pretty okay.
Dude.
You used it some, right?
I loved it. I love the Wi-Fi in the train.
When we travel, I often sleep through
Anything.
And then Graham's awake. So
if I wasn't talking right now, Ron would be sleeping.
No, because we're not moving. We got to be moving. Then I can really knock it out. Then I can. There's a ton of pictures of me sleeping on Instagram. Like a ton of sleeping photos. Because my fiance does the same thing you do when we're traveling. She's like, he managed again. It's like, oh, he's ready to party. And sleeping photo of Ron. It's
like we have red-eye flights where I'm like, oh, I kind of slept. Ron's like, oh, I buckled in, I went to sleep, and then I woke up when we landed. Like I was like, how the fuck do you do that?
You know how I am with red eyes, man. It's like a really boring slumber party. It's like a slumber party with people you don't know. That's all I look at it as.
Ron can sleep anywhere. Christian B. What's up, Christian? Thank you for supporting the show. Lindsey Graham is a family of possums in a suit. Mitch McConnell is the personification of Motel 6 shower drain, and Epstein didn't kill himself.
The Mitch McConnell line is really good.
That's funny.
Oh, I'm jealous I didn't think of that and tweet it first. Tweet that.
Yes.
Tweet that. I will
That's
retweet
funny.
that. That's really funny.
No, Epstein did not kill himself. Humanity, what's up? Bloomberg is running. Will Harris or Biden drop out? Harris probably is close to dropping out.
Harris has got to be close. I mean, she
she's
is
cutting staff.
She's cutting. Although we don't know, she might just be doing that to hire prison labor and save herself some money. That might be her plan. That's kind
Prisoners
of her
that
thing.
she put in jail.
Yeah,
Oh,
she'll
great.
hire those prisoners and be like, "You're a staffer now."
You got my Twitter handle. You got my Twitter feed.
We're gonna keep kids in school till 6 p.m. That's what we're. Did you see that? That's her plan. She's like, "Oh, the best is the way they sold it. They were like, it helps poor and low income people."
No, it doesn't.
'Cause instead of talking about, hey, why do people have to work so much to get by? Why do
Right.
families have to,
Why
maybe
don't
we should talk
provide
about living
jobs?
wages. No. Let's make the kids as miserable as their parents and keep them in school until 6 p.m.
I don't think Biden's going to drop out, but I think Harris is close.
No, Biden will run it until the end.
yeah,
he will run it like it's an Amtrak going
until
up to
he just completely forgets everywhere and just
where he is
and just
and his name.
wanders off of his campaign bus and they can't find him.
Yeah.
That's when his campaign will end.
So basically, get Biden some really good pot, and
No, he might become more.
he'll wander off. He'll wander off, man. He'll think he's at a Grateful Dead show and just.
Oh God! What if he runs out of teeth whitener? Then what are we gonna do? Nom de plume pename. Don't take this wrong, but name one war on that we've ever come close to succeeding. No, you're right.
The war on drugs was a big hit.
That was a big.
That was. War on poverty. We're doing. Bono told me we're doing great there. I think.
Yeah, I know. No to play.
No, I'm just saying, and I was like half joking when I was saying it, but it's like the point is, it's like, okay, we can use all the like verbiage and propaganda that people use now.
Right.
Like, what if we just kind of flip that on them?
Right.
Is kind of the point I'm getting at.
Yeah,
but,
that's
you
good.
know.
You do bring up a good point. Cyber clue, bam. Bill Gates said he wouldn't vote for Warren over Trump. And Democrat Senator Joe Manchin said he wouldn't vote for Bernie over Trump.
Yeah.
Russian puppets. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joe Manchin is another one of these. How is he a Democrat?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
so when I hear that
insane.
any blue will do, I always go, Joe Manchin. I mean,
Oh, and
Heidi Heitkamp, before she got voted out, she was an awful oil lobby person, like that just happened to be barely, she just had a D in front of her name.
What made me so mad too was that so many people started shaming people preemptively. Like, you gotta vote for Joe Manchin. I mean, we have to go blue no matter who. I know he's terrible. But when Joe Manchin had somebody going against him, Paula Jean Swearengin, who would be amazing in office,
Right.
by the way.
Imagine if she was in office right
Imagine
now.
if she was in office right now. They were silent. They
Yeah.
weren't there for her. It's like, where were you? You're willing to shame people to vote for Joe Manchin. Where were you when Paula Jean? Where were you when there was an alternative? Did you vote for Paula Jean?
Did you back her campaign?
Yeah.
Did you push out help her out in any way, shape, or form? Because she would be amazing.
Yeah.
If she was there right now, probably would have endorsed Bernie already. And,
Oh, definitely.
And would be an amazing ally if he got the nomination and won.
And understands the environmental consequences
know-
going on in her state.
Yes.
So when you go up to someone like her and be like, oh, yeah, West Virginia, they wouldn't want coal. She'd be like, no. Back up. Let me tell you what coal top removal is doing to my community.
And-
Let me tell you the cost that we're suffering. We need better jobs and green jobs. We don't need a continuation of coal.
Yes.
So back up right
She'd
now.
say back the fuck up on Chigo. I talk to people who work in the coal industry that say I would gladly work in green energy
Mm-hmm.
if that job existed here in West Virginia. The only people that don't want coal jobs to go away are the coal industry owners. The employees,
and the people in their pockets, like Joe Manchin.
yeah, people in their pockets, because coal, they don't want black lung. They see how dangerous and awful it is for their water supply, for their own physical well-being. They would gladly, every coal worker would gladly work in a solar panel factory or wind turbine or whatever, because it would be cleaner and healthier for their environment, their kids, and everything else. Fucking Joe Manchin. God, he's such a piece of shit. Brian McManus, boom. Here's 350. Biden could stroke out during a debate, pass his campaign torch to Hillary, and a lose one more time for the Gipper moment.
Lose one more time for the Gipper. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Oh, God.
That should be Biden's campaign slogan. Yeah. I mean, he's had to go like, meh was one of them, but I mean, lose one more time.
Malarkey 2020.
Malarkey 2020.
Lose one more time for the Gipper.
I'm friends with President My Boss. That was another one. Lose one for the Gipper. That's got to be one.
Oh.
Good job, Brian.
Hey, Gray, thank you for supporting the show. Hashtag Assange didn't kill himself. I don't know what that means. He's still alive. Shave your knuckles for justice. Oh, right on. Cool. Thanks for supporting the show. Sets, shave them. You're making Gotham great again. Can't wait to see you guys in Melbourne next week. Oh,
see you soon.
He got his tickets.
Nice.
Or she. I'm not sure what Sets is. But
follow their lead.
Follow their lead. Get your tickets. Melbourne will be sold out. It's almost there.
Almost there.
Kevin B. Oh, I said doing that thing. 289 people watching. Please hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see where we're at. What the other questions? It says we're buffering. If you guys. There you go. Thank you, William Martyr. The coal industry was created by Satan. Yeah, that's right. All right. David Lang, that's everybody there. I think we only just have one more from Kevin B. Kevin. And then we'll probably wrap this up, Ron. Any closing thoughts? Let me just say this. Here's Kevin B. Have you heard you both mention Albuquerque, but haven't seen a date on your website. Still hoping to see you both in 2020.
We're working on it.
We're working on Albuquerque.
End of May, we're working on Albuquerque. If you have any venue suggestions, let us know.
Yes.
We've been in touch with some people there. Albuquerque is one of those towns, they like to kind of book last minute.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of book in advance. So if you know any venues, please send it our way. A place that seats, 70 to 100 people, that has a nice bar service, that seems like it'd be conducive for comedy, let us know. But Albuquerque, we are working on it.
Yes, we're working on it because we've got some other venues like in the Southwest in that area. Some other gigs we already got are lining up. So we will be adding Albuquerque onto it. So yeah, like Ron said, find a 75 to 100 seat venue and have them reach out to us, or just say, hey guys, here's this bar and their contact info or whatever.
And we'll take it from there.
We'll take it from there.
Yeah, if you know a cool place, about folk club, music club, small theater, let us know.
Boom. Yeah, Amtrak dining car kicks ass. I'm telling you, we should.
The Amtrak dining car was awesome.
Dude.
Really comfortable place to sleep. And the Wi-Fi was okay, right? Like,
yes.
I slept through
Dude,
it all.
I'm telling you, let's just look at it from a carbon footprint standpoint.
We'll price it out.
Of what taking the train up to Seattle and Portland would be like.
Yeah, all right.
Because, I could sleep on a train if we got what the dining car or the sleeper car thing is.
Yeah, I can totally sleep on a train.
You could sleep anywhere. David Crow, thank you so much for supporting the show. All right, everybody. I think that's what we've. Any final thoughts here, Ron?
Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone, ronplacone.com for all the tour dates. And again, Australia next week. Get your tickets. Don't wait. November 14th, Melbourne. That's going to sell out. November 15th, Adelaide. 17th, Sydney. 22nd, Perth. And, one of the things that I've been saying a long time now, there's nothing pragmatic about an incremental solution to a catastrophic problem. Yeah. And that should be the theme of this and all climate debates.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing with climate change. We just can't let this go. I vowed to do at least one climate change video a week. Even if they don't get that many views, I don't care. And this is the thing why Bernie has the best Green New Deal that I've seen. And he's not the perfect candidate. His foreign policy, we can be
It needs a little work.
Needs a little work, for sure.
But that's something he can be pushed on.
Sure. And that's the thing. That's what we need to do. You have to push your candidates in the direction, or politicians, even if they're in the direction you want them to go. Like, I don't like the fact that Bernie hasn't spoken out about Julian Assange. Only Tulsi has. So push him that way. So you need to stop saying that Putin is a dictator. Not that he's perfect, but talk about how we're going to work together for peace and a Green New Deal
Bernie
and saving
started.
the planet.
I mean, Bernie has started because he has said something in favor of whistleblowers. He has spoken out against the Espionage Act. So, he's definitely starting to go in that direction, which is a good thing.
Yeah. So hold these I say this: nobody gets a free ride on this show. I'll be critical of Bernie. I'll be critical of Tulsi. I'm going to be very critical of these corporate Democrats.
Oh yeah.
So nobody gets a free ride, and
nor should they.
Nor should they.
Nor should they. This is not.
And if Bernie becomes president, I'm going to be really critical of him. If he starts moving to the center, I'm going to fucking go nuts.
Yeah.
So nobody gets a free ride.
Yeah, we need our FDR moment.
We need
it. If he gets in, he's got to be that FDR guy. He's got to be. Because there's no alternative.
If we don't reverse climate change, we could literally, there's an article, and I'm going to do a whole video on it, about saying that we could be extinct by 2023 if this methane gets released by an Arctic scientist. It's pretty severe. And it's like, it's not like, we got to get this done by 2040 or 2050. No. Like now, like today, like Bernie gets sworn in January 21 and has to go this is happening. Like he has to have 100 days, his first 100 days, like FDR
It's got to
did.
be, because we don't
have like
we're behind.
We're behind.
Like it's not like all of a sudden like, oh shit, we got to get.
Oh, that's right.
No, we're behind.
Yeah.
We're behind, and we're not getting better with who's in the White House right now.
No, this idiot.
So we need something fierce and strong.
Yep. So somebody asked, are we coming to Tampa? Yes, we will be in Tampa.
We should be there March 13th, and we're just finalizing
We're just
that.
locking down we should have a ticket link up soon.
Yes.
So we already have ticket links for Orlando and Miami. But again, go to both our websites. All the ticket links are already up there, and we'll be filling in little spaces here and there.
Oh, a lot of spaces.
A lot of
here
spaces.
And there. What are you talking? Yeah,
we're
we
doing
got a lot of places we're going.
At least one weekend a month, if not two.
Southeast, we're coming back. We're going to be coming back to some places. We'll definitely be back to Atlanta. We might be hitting some markets we didn't hit the first time. Colorado, we're coming.
Hey, Annabelle.
Huh?
I just said, hey, Annabelle. That's all.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, we're coming. And if there's anywhere you want to see us that you didn't hear us mention, let us know. We'll see what we can do.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the show, this special climate town hall report thing. Anytime we're going to be going live. I go live every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific. Ron and I will be going live after the debates that are on like the 20th or something like that.
We'll be it'll be like morning where we're at.
Yep, we'll be in Perth. So the next debates, we will absolutely go live immediately following. And we will be talking to you on the road. So like, share, and subscribe all these videos. Visit ronplacone.com or grahamelwood.com. Follow us on social media. Thank you so much. Shave your knuckles for justice. And remember, you're making Gotham great again.